Welcome to part 2 of the Hogs of War Let's Play. In this part we have our full team to play around with. Of course you only have 5 pigs and then you've got 3 reserves, but we're not going to use any of those reserves, so because the game is designed that there's only enough promotion points to fully promote all 5 of your main pigs. But yeah, this second mission, it's not too bad. It's basically like the first mission, except one pig is slightly stronger. So don't know if it's considered an easier mission, but I actually had a really sloppy run of this. What I like to do is start with my gunner, fire a bazooka at this grunt, and try and get him into the water and drown him. But unfortunately I didn't hit him dead on, otherwise I probably would have killed him. Now when I see this level I think a lot about a older video I once saw. It was footage of this game in its very early builds, where they were originally going to have it with a much darker tone. I'm not sure would that have really worked, considering they're still pigs. It's very cartoony but mixed with something so dark. I'm glad with the direction they took it and made everything a lot more comedic. But the music was a lot more sad. The pigs moved slower and they looked more worn out and kind of mentally disturbed. And the game was also a lot more precise in the way things were done. There was a lot more planning and strategy around other elements that weren't just the weapons, like buildings and machinery, as well as different oh, Schweine's just gone for a little swim. Well, I think I'll go and clean my clothes. The Kaiser will not like it if I have blood on my uniform. I know the spy worked very differently, and so did I think it was the medic, worked quite a bit differently. There were also other gameplay mechanics like wind. So you had to compensate for how the wind was blowing for when you, say for example throwing a grenade. And I'm glad they didn't do that, because I have a lot of trouble with that kind of mechanic enough when I play everybody's golf, and I don't really think I want to play everybody's Hogs of War when I'm playing Hogs of War. So now a neat little thing in this game is you can jump on a pig's head, and if you land on a pig's head you deal 1 damage. So if you've got plenty of time, like in this kind of mission, you can jump on a pig's head if they've barely got any health left, and say a pig's got 3 health left and you jump on their head 3 times, they're dead, and then you can focus on another pig and you're not wasting your turn. Fortunately I was taking too long and I was like, well, I might as well just throw something at him. He's the most dangerous pig on this map, on the other team, so had to take him out. But One thing I would really like to see, like, because there is a pretty dedicated community to this game. There's a channel called Pinstripe that has done a lot of information and whatnot covering this game. I would like to see a like mod for this game where you're playing the story mode missions but in multiplayer. So like it would always be a 2-player mode, but like obviously one team plays as the actual like main campaign team and the other plays as the enemy team. I suppose probably the best way to do that would be just to mod the single player map into multiplayer and just manually position the pigs. But at least in the maps where it's not totally unbalanced, I think it would be an interesting idea. Or at the very least, just having the single player maps in multiplayer, they'd be really fun to play around on. Because the multiplayer mode is always very fun. I do like to like mess around in it a lot. I once oh well, that didn't go as planned at all. Are you sure this is safe? Oh, don't worry, I'm wearing a helmet. Well, I did play the multiplayer mode one time for quite a bit with Corky, and she really loves this game. So hopefully in the future we might be able to do some multiplayer sessions together, and yeah, just have some more Hogs of War content, because that's always nice to see. But now we're about to wrap up this mission finally, because let's face it, I've taken way too long to just kill 3 pigs. So as long as I don't mess this up, we're good to go. Because the important thing is you do want to make sure you beat every level without any of your pigs dying, which isn't too much of a problem in this kind of mission, but later on, some of the other ones, they do get pretty tricky.
Is this normal, sir?
You know, actually, speaking of multiplayer before, there's one thing I really like doing. There's a map called Death Valley 2, and it has this weapon called the Super Airburst, it's kind of like a bazooka that blows up into 2 more bazookas, which blows up into like 8 mini bazookas. And I like to gather all the pigs together, make them stand next to each other. The frame rate completely tanks when you do that though. And then the one pig in the middle shoots the Super Airburst up and everyone dies. But the problem with that when I did it on the old disc that was really scratched was it would cause the game to crash. But now we've got a sniper and a medic. The medic is an incredibly important class, I would say. It's very difficult to get through it all without a medic, and a sniper class like the espionage is my preferred class, my favourite. A lot of people usually, because there's only 4 classes but there's 5 pigs, a lot of people tend to go with 2 heavy weapons or 2 like engineer class pigs. But I go with 2 snipers, and I like the sniper rifle, and I like this other weapon they get. It's more of an ability called the pickpocket. That has saved me so many times, and it is such a good weapon. Like thing. I'll get onto it more when we actually have a turn as well. Shrek's the sniper at the moment.
I don't like foreigners.
And there's Hagrid, just, you know, showing off his racist ways. Because Hagrid is very accepting of mudbloods and half-bloods, but he doesn't like people who aren't English. I don't know, is that really appropriate considering the person who's written Harry Potter? I mean, I know it's not a race thing, but there is still the topic of intolerance, isn't there? I don't know. Maybe my name is just the name I gave him is just more fitting than I originally thought. But yeah, this level is very World War One because you're actually in trenches. And I found out something very interesting about the about this level that I didn't know. So there are these two shelters and these two tents, and if you destroy the two tents, a box with a TNT drops down, which can be pretty useful. But the thing is you're essentially wasting a turn to blow up those, unless if like the AI accidentally blow it up for you. Shelters are very useful to hide in. Tents are absolutely useless. Like just the normal tiny tents, they only have 20 health and they will pretty much blow up after anything shoots them. And then that'll deal, I think they only deal 20 health to use, so I think the only use they would have is if you know the enemy is going to shoot something at you normally that would usually deal more than 20 damage to you.
What shall I do?
Yeah, now we've got the scout class, the sneakster. Unfortunately, they're not too useful while they're still scout because they only have their little pea shooter rifle, and I mean they do have their pickpocket, which is good, but once we upgrade them and they actually get their sniper rifle, they become much more useful. So that's the pickpocket. You use it on a pig. You can even use it on your own team if you want to, for whatever reason. You take a weapon from them, they can't use it anymore, it becomes yours. And the thing that makes that so useful is if you take all the pig's weapons, or you take their most powerful weapons, they become pretty useless. More often than not, they start skipping their turns. So that becomes incredibly useful in later missions when you need to either like reduce how much fire is being shot at you, or if you need to prolong a mission for whatever reason, but also don't want to have to keep worrying about a pig attacking you.
Ready, willing, and able, sir.
Now I didn't realise when I was playing this, but the actual grenade that they throw is an actual like model shaped like a grenade. From a distance it just looks like a little ball, but one time when the game glitched and a grenade just got stuck and it was just spinning on the spot in the air, so it actually gave me time to look closely at it, and you can see it actually is shaped like a grenade. Now Mr. Bean, our medic, is going to heal our scout here with his back rubs, his chest rubs, and then he's going to use the cluster grenade. The cluster grenade has to be another one of my favourite weapons.
Maximum force.
Fortunately I don't really use it properly, but I still get the kill. The cluster grenade is incredibly powerful. It can do up to 105 damage, but the best way to launch it is to actually throw it at a pig's feet and then just mash the X button, make it blow up, and then when the shrapnel like pieces come out, you detonate them immediately while they're all still grouped up. So we got Qui-Gon here, who's still in his Padawan phase because he's still a grunt. Not sure where Count Dooku is. And maybe he's back at base, like healing everyone up, and he's like, well, because it's Christopher Lee, so it'll be like Wilbur Wonka or something. He'll be looking at everyone and be like, well, let's see what the damage is this year. Bullet wounds, cuts, lollipops. Right, shooting this guy was a smart move, if I do say so myself, because if a pig is poisoned and has 10 or less health and it's their turn, they die and they lose their turn. And that's just another really important thing you have to be aware of when playing this game, is you have to make sure that you can give yourself as many turns as possible and not let the enemy do anything with theirs. So poisoning them at low health, tranquilizing them, all that is very useful. I know my bazooka shots haven't been so great recently, so I'm just going to play it safe with the pistol. Hagrid traded his trusty crossbow for a pistol. Let's just say people have stayed away from his hut ever since. Well, that's another mission completed. We're getting, that one definitely went a lot better than the last one. We finally have enough promotion points to upgrade Qui-Gon at least. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up is, if you fail a mission and you go back to edit your squad and you save the game, from then on every newspaper will actually show the bad newspaper that happens if you lose, even when you win. So it'll still say like, oh, we lost, or our boys are dead, or something. But yeah, I've made him a scout. So in the next part we'll be, I think, finishing off Hogshead. Not sure, but see you then.